I like to go to Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore, Maryland, to the Grand Major Temple. Baltimore, Maryland, Grand Major Temple. To our Grand Sheik there, Grand Sheik Wm.Marrow-El. Wm.Marrow-El will be demonstrating on our chapter for today. Islam. I yield the floor to you, Mo.
Islam.
Islam, 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 Islam.
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 7 times Islam. Magic number, and we rise in our perfect circle of life, represent the circle 7. And we say, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Bismillah, Rahman Rahim, Bismillah, Rahman Rahim. We say Allah is great. And in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, we always give thanksgiving, adoration, praise, and worship to Him, the One. Especially for blessing us with the advent of the Prophet, Holy Prophet, Nabi, who was born in the state of North Carolina in 1886. I want to give honor to all Moors here, there, and everywhere, all Sheiks. I want to give honor to Friday, the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. I want to give honor to my leader, my teacher, a friend, Dr. Arjun Bay, who is not here with us anymore in the flesh, but his memory and his words and his heart live on in those who know him. I'd like to go right into the chapter. We're talking about early Sunday morning. He raises from the tomb. Why? Why is this significant? So this is not a new story. This is not a new story. So why you, the audience out there might question, how come you Moorish Americans got to retell the story over and over again? And we have to do it in our particular way because it hasn't been told this way. So we look at this as the uniting of the Holy Quran of Mecca, this Moorish Holy Quran, because Sacred 7, divinely prepared. So we had to refer to this because on our nationality card, the Prophet Ali declared we are Muslims. So we can't do it no other way. And being a Muslim, we have to stick with the principles of the Holy Quran and the principles of this book. So this is what we're trying to relate to these certain principles. Early Sunday morning, what's the significance of early Sunday morning? We already know that he was on the cross sometime around noon and Friday. They had to take him down the cross, put him in the tomb, dressed him up, put some herbs and healing spices and salves on him. He was in the tomb. Put him in the tomb, put a watch on the tomb, put a seal on the tomb, and, some things happened. Some stuff began to take place. So we find out that in our divine constitution of bylaws, it tells why these things had to take place. It says because this is the day that the first man departed out of flesh, a particular man, and ascended unto his Father God Allah. We know that Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world, according to our 101, because this is the day that man departed out of flesh and ascended. So we talk about this man, Jesus. Historical Jesus, not the one with the pale skin, blonde hair, and blue eyes. We're talking about historical Jesus. We're talking about Jesus of Nazareth. We're talking about Jesus, son of Mary. So, we tell the story. He didn't sleep in the tomb. He did not sleep. And we find out that when we get into who was Jesus, we got lessons on how he came about, by whom, what he is, and what he was supposed to do. The first man to demonstrate the resurrection of the dead. Has anyone ever done it since? Well, they say they have, and they probably do. I don't know. But the point is, this is the first one whose mission was to demonstrate the death and resurrection of man. And he said, what I've done all men to do. He didn't sleep. So we find out that why was he in that tomb in the realms of soul without its manifest? The body is a manifest of soul. But here he was in the realms of the soul without its manifest. Because he had places to go. Because he had people to talk to. He had to appear, fully materialized. And he had to present himself so that those doubters perhaps, but nonetheless, so the story could be told. Well, he had to demonstrate this. We find out that he already met all his challenges. He was in the wilderness, and he talked to himself and Allah, and he found, tested and said, okay, my strength is and wordiness is all right. I'm good with that. So he began his divine ministry. He began to heal and he began to walk on water. He began to perform our miracles. And so we get to the point where, why was he not asleep in the tomb? He had to center himself. He had to focus himself. He had to empower himself. So he had to be in a place of seclusion where he wouldn't be disturbed. That's why the Roman seal was there. That's why the guards was there. Then the white-class soldiers, they appeared in Marston County. So he wouldn't be disturbed. You can't, when you're in a state of deep, deep meditation as he were, you cannot move the body. You can't tamper with the body. So he had to be in a tomb with a stone and a seal on it so he wouldn't be bothered as he centered and focused and empowered himself. So he had already been through faith and belief, or belief and faith and fruition. The heart of man speaks, or goes from the heart of Allah to the heart of man, and vice versa. The heart of man goes to the heart of Allah. He had already been through that. So he is the message that he brings, but he haven't fully delivered the message yet. So he, at one point he opened his eyes. He opened his eyes and he cast aside his burial gown, his head wrappings, things that are significant to one who had to demonstrate this. So what do we get from that? Why he had to lay aside these things? Why they mentioned they just garments, but symbolically it's about those things that are no worth. Those things that are of a previous state. Those things that are carnal. Those things that are of no use to him any longer. And we ourselves have to do that once we examine our heart. Well, we purify our heart first, then we have to examine our heart and know where we're going, what we're going to do, and really identify who we are, because that's all the links that we need to be, ourselves. Now, we got to find out why he had to be in the tomb again. See, Allah speaks to man directly in three different ways. One of the ways is revelation. So how do we have revelation? Through meditation, through stillness, through control of the carnal, and we go to the plane of soul. Revelation is one way that Allah speaks to man. Humans, man. Don't get it, Man, he speaks to him from behind a veil. We'll go into that lesson in some other time, all right? And he also sent a messenger, so that those will know that this is his will, that this particular messenger, prophet, is delivering his message as he laid it on his heart to do. So we talk about the power of prayer now. This is what Jesus was doing, praying within the tomb. We look in the Holy Quran of Mecca, Surah 17, verses 78 and 79. We talk about the night prayers. We talk about the offertory prayers. We talk about the 5 times a day. But then there's an additional prayer. It's optional, but it's additional prayer. And Allah was telling Muhammad, he said, well, it may be that your Lord will rise you, Allah will rise you to a station of praise and glory, the honor that you will get. And so we use this prayer. Most Americans use it. We call it the death hour. We talk about the hours between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. We can push it a little bit and go to 5:30 a.m. But we got to be close not to get to 6 o'clock, because that's when Satan starts talking to you. He starts talking to you and answering your questions and try to reassure you, but it's all false. So we call these the death hours. So we talk about how that we gain, we don't believe that we need middlemen. stick to a law. We don't believe that. We don't think that we have to have a priest or an imam or a grand sheik or a rabbi, etc. We say we walk up to Allah and put our hands in His hands and all as well. So this is what Jesus was doing. He was communicating directly with Allah. So when you do that at those hours, the death hours, in those hours, Allah hear you. He hear everything that you are saying, so you get blessed by Him resolving doubts you might have. You might have a question that you need answered, or you might have a decision that you might have to come to. So you get clarity because your heart is still, your heart is pure, your heart is still, and you listen to that still small voice, and you get direction. You get significant factors resolved just in an instant. So Jesus, the plan for His rising from the tomb and standing by the white-clad or the white form, the white-clad form that appeared with Him, right? So He's preparing Himself. We have to do the same thing. We resurrect from the dead because we always talk about, and Nation Islam famous for this, saying the dead, with a dead state of mind. So we have to liven ourselves up. We have to become conscious, then we become a living. So what the first thing Jesus said? He said, all hail.
All hail.
The rising sun. Sun is symbolic of truth. And all truth comes from the east, which sun rises in the east. So he said, all rise. All hail, rather. All hail. The rising sun. The coming of the day. He's ready. He's done it. His work is finished. The rest is up to man to tell his story. This is why we concentrate on telling his story today in our way. But, as I said, don't take yourself outside of the lessons. Don't take yourself outside of the lessons. These lessons are for you. This is how we return to goodness, peace, and happiness. We follow a script. We follow a storyline. We follow a map. We follow the architecture of rebuilding, reforming, and saving ourselves. So we had to tell it in a particular way. And that's what we're doing. So I want you all to concentrate on that significance of that early Sunday morning in those hours. I want you to concentrate on the power, the empowerment of prayer. I want you to concentrate on how to still yourself so that God will speak directly to you through revelation. And I want you to concentrate on that what is possible for Him is also possible for you. And I bid you peace.
Islam.
Islam.
God and give praise to our Father, God of Allah, honor to our Prophet, noble joy of leaders.
Islam. Alhamdulillah. Beautiful.
Islam. All hail the rising sun. Islam, Mo. Thank you, Mo, for that beautiful demonstration. Islam.
Islam.
Praise the Lord. Thank you also, Sheikh. Very welcome.
Islam. Islam. I'd like to go to my next and final speaker, my grand